Right. Good afternoon, everyone, and good morning to you, Sidney. We have with us today MB International School, all the way from Jammu, students of grade 9th, 10th, and 11th. And we also have an expert in the field of education with us, Mr. Sidney Rose. I welcome you all. Hi, this is Tanya Sethi here. I welcome you all to Edu TV. And today, as in India, we have the examinations approaching. So we have with us Mr. Sidney Rose, who will be taking a session, an interaction session with the students of MB International School, where we'll be covering two topics to be more precise. It will be mental stress in schools and how to organize the workload. So over to you, Sidney.
Okay, thank you, and good morning, everybody. As you can probably hear, I am Mr. Sidney Rose. I'm British. I come from Manchester. It's a city that's very famous for football. It has two great football teams in it. Um, and I am a consultant, an education consultant. I used to be a school principal. I've been principal of two schools in India, actually, and the principal of schools in Dubai and Qatar and China, and also in Vietnam. And I've been working obviously with students, mostly in secondary schools, for a long time. And one of the big issues that comes to us is that at the time of exams is stress. It's not unusual to be stressed. In fact, we all get stressed. Your teachers get stressed, your parents get stressed, your school principal gets stressed. Tell me about it. I've been there. What I would thought I would talk to you about this morning are ways that you might combat the stress, or you might be able to handle the stress just from my rather long experience of working in education. Um, as I said, one of the things to remember most of all that it's not unusual to get stressed. We all get it. We can feel like the most stressed out person in the world, but we all get it. I think the main thing to do is to realize that you are stressed and try to identify why you are stressed. The most important things to do are to talk to people about it and um, try to get a hang of it. Um, what I thought I would do is go through some of the things that I found are useful for handling stress. I get stressed. I still get stressed. I have a work to do. Um, the first thing that I think the number one thing to do is to be active. I think the worst thing we can do is to not be active and let stress get hold of us and make us feel like we don't want to do anything. um, it's been proven that exercise can reduce emotional intensity that you're feeling, and it can clear your thoughts. I'm sure that your school has a very active sports program, and I think it's very important to be part of that and take part in it, but not only just in school, but to be active anyway in your daily life. I think the second thing to think about is to take control of your situation. That's the main thing. If you don't take control of it, it's going to get worse. That is fact. And the feeling of loss of control is one of the main causes of stress and the feeling of not being good. So the act of taking control is empowering is itself. It's a crucial part of finding the solution that satisfies you, not excuse me, and not somebody else. The third thing I would say to you is to connect with people, to build up a good support network of your friends and family can ease your work troubles and help you perhaps see things in a different way. If you can talk to people about your stress and not keep it to yourself, I think that is a lot better thing to do, and to do activities with your friends and relax can help to relieve stress. Talking through things with a friend can help you find solutions. Maybe they have a good idea to help you combat your stress. Uh, Related to that is to make sure that you have some what I call me time. That's time for yourself. You know, we all work long hours. We don't spend enough time doing things that we enjoy a lot. We get very embroiled in our work, in our school work. That's the only thing that we can think about. But we really need to take some time for doing other things besides work. Now, school isn't everything. There are many other things that you can uh, do. You can socialize, you can relax, and as I mentioned before, you can do some exercise. I think it's a good idea to try to set aside a couple of nights a week that you are not doing schoolwork. I know that's very difficult to do because your teachers give you homework to do and you're studying for your exams, and there are many other things to do. But I think it's important that you take a couple of nights a week to try to get some time away from your work. It might be difficult to do, but I think you should try to do that. The next thing I would say to you is you should challenge yourself, like setting yourself goals and challenges, whether you're in your schoolwork or outside work, like perhaps learning a new language. I'm not sure what languages you learn in your school. I'm sure that you're learning English, but to learn another language or to take part in a new sport that you haven't done before can help you build confidence in yourself. And that can help you deal with your stress. Being good at something is a great reliever of stress. It can help you get through things. Uh, I should also say uh, the main thing probably is to avoid unhealthy habits. When we are stressed, we tend to do things that we shouldn't do, like we maybe uh, eat too much. That's a very common thing to do, particularly with teenage children, is that they will uh, eat things to make themselves feel better. It's very satisfying to eat something nice and take our minds away from being stressed. Um, you should not do that. It can give you temporary relief, but in the long term, of course, it won't help you. Um, the next thing I would say to you is try to help other people. Evidence shows that people who help others through activities like volunteering or doing community work become more resilient people and also better members of the community. I think that is very important. If you don't have time to volunteer, I think it's good to try to do something good every day, to try to do somebody a favor, like to help a friend with their homework maybe, or to help your mum do a few chores at home or something, uh, to give yourself a good feeling about yourself, and I think that will help you with it. Um, what I also want to say, and I'll come on to it a little bit later, is to work smarter, not harder. I think just to work uh, is not always the great thing. I think you have to be smart about the way that you work and prioritize your work and concentrate on the things that are going to make a real difference in your work. You know, I often find students just study for the sake of studying and spend hours and hours and hours just reading and not taking it in without prioritizing what they are really should be concentrating on. Um, and I would say leave the least important task to the last. And the main thing is that to accept that you uh, don't have time to do everything. It's just not possible. You have to prioritize what you want to do and not do the other things. The last thing I wanted to talk about stress before I talk about managing your workload is that you should try to be positive about things. That's not always very easy when you are stressed. We know that it's very easy to get down and feel down about things. I think you have to look at the positive things in your life. You all look like very nice, very healthy young people. And I think that you have to be grateful for that and not get so down about feeling stressed. Just be grateful for what you're doing. A good thing to do is to write down things that you think did go well in your day to day. If you're having a bad day, I think it's good to reflect on your day and think about things that did go well today. That good question that you asked in a science lesson, or that maths problem that you were able to do, or that great piece of artwork that you did, or that goal that you scored today in the sports lesson. I think it's important to try to be positive and grateful for um, how you are. Just be grateful for how you are. You looks like you go to a great school. I think you should be grateful for that. You are luckier than many people in the world. I think those are important things about stress. Uh, what I have found in all these years of working is that students come to me all the time, particularly at this time when they're facing examinations and they're facing tests, about how uh, the best way they should study. Of course, we all have different ways of learning. That is proven. Some people learn better by listening. Some people learn better by doing. And we all have to think about that. But what I want to do, just briefly, are to uh, talk about things that I have written down about the best ways to study. And as I mentioned just before, the main thing is to prioritize your tasks when you are studying or you are learning. If you want to get a good grade, and we all want to do that, and we all want you to do that, the thing is to prioritize what you should be doing. As I said, it's very easy just to try to do everything. That's an impossibility. Um, so I think you should do make a to-do list, write down the tasks and assignments that you need to do, most importantly, and give them urgency, rank them. This is number one, number two, number three, number four. These are the things that I should be doing today. Um, and perhaps you do this all the time, but it's a bit obvious that you should use a planner. I'm sure that you have a school planner, and you keep a track of deadlines and upcoming tests and tasks that you do uh, to try to avoid last minute cramming. I can't remember what the Indian word is for cramming, but you know what I mean when you leave everything to the last minute and you are sitting waiting to go into the test and you're still revising. But it shouldn't be the way that you're doing things. You should have a planner to do it. And that comes on to time management. And as I said before, you should have specific goals that you are doing, and try to break down the big tasks that you have into small, manageable tasks. Um, Aim for daily and weekly targets. I'm going to do this today. By the end of the week, I will have done this much. I will have learned all about algebra this week. I will have done that. And as I mentioned before, with using a planner to create a schedule and give yourself specific time blocks for studying, for homework, for having breaks, and to stick to that schedule. We are all very good at writing things down in our diaries and our planners, but we're also very good at not doing those things. It's important to try to make sure that you stick to what you have planned to do on that day, and not get distracted in some way and try to do something else. That kind of went back to what I was talking about before about studying efficiently. You should have active learning techniques. I'm sure that your teachers taught you a lot about your active learning techniques, like summarizing, like self-quizzing, like helping your friend with concepts that maybe they don't understand. That's a big thing for all of us, to help our friends. That's makes us an important part of the school community, and that's what we're aiming for. We're aiming for a good community where everybody helps each other. That's a very important thing. Um, the environment that you study in is obviously very important. We are live in our homes where maybe TV is going on, or you love to listen to music. Those things, if you're trying to study effectively, you should try to get away from. You should try to find a quiet and comfortable place that has as few distractions as possible to enhance your focus. Excuse me. Um, that comes to the next thing, which is about to staying organized, keeping all of your materials in order, keeping all your folders and digital tools in order, and to keep notes of assignments you've got organized by subject. In my years, I see many students who open their lockers, and it's amazing what that locker looks like when I open it, or when I've done inspections of lockers, how untidy some students are with their materials, or how untidy they are in their bags. What is going on in those bags sometimes is amazing. I think you should also review regularly. I think you need to spend a few minutes each week reviewing the notes that you've made to reinforce your learning, not just when your teacher tells you to, but to try to do that yourself. Um, and as a teacher, I think one of the most important things is to seek help when you need it. I know that is sometimes quite a daunting task. We don't like to put our hand up in class and say, "I'm sorry, sir, I don't understand that." But if you need help, you should, of course, ask for it. Um, you should ask your teachers. You shouldn't hesitate in that. And even if you don't understand, I think you need to seek clarification about things, that you really do understand what is going on, or in the classroom, or that particular concept that the teacher is trying to put into your head. It's important that you do that, and not just sit there quietly and let things go above your head. That's a very important thing. It's sorry, excuse me. It's also important to try to form some study groups. We all have our particular friends that we hang out with. I think it's important to collaborate with your classmates for support. As I mentioned before, we all have different ways of learning. Some of us can do it by reading. Some of us need to be shown how to do it. There's nothing wrong with different ways of learning, and it's good to seek support from your peers and friends about things. We know who is good in maths in that class. We know who is good in English grammar in that class. And it's good to try to seek help from people about that, to use the expertise that is in your own classroom. One of the main things about studying is to take care of yourself. We get stressed when we're studying, but it's important to take care of ourselves. Even when you become as old as me, we try to keep care of ourselves. It's important to get, for example, enough sleep. I would say at your age, you need at least 7 hours sleep, even a bit longer, to maintain your bodies and and also your brains, that you are rested and that you have enough. That will help you maintain focus and retention. There's nothing worse than feeling tired in a class and feeling drowsy in the classroom. We've all felt it, and it's often to do with not enough sleep. I mentioned earlier on about staying active. Regular physical activity is proven to reduce stress and improve concentration. We know that. That is why we put physical education on the school curriculum. It's a very important thing about staying healthy and keeping our bodies and minds active. Related to that, of course, is how you eat. I know that teenagers don't always eat healthily. It's not the best thing to do, but you need to think about a lot about what you're eating and what you're snacking with and how it is, because we all know a balanced diet helps maintain your energy levels and your cognitive functions too. What you put inside your body is very important. I'm coming near to the end of my little talk, but what I also would like you to think about is to limit what you're doing in your extracurricular activities when it comes to your exams. Of course, extracurricular activities are immensely important, whether you're doing sport or you're doing music or you're doing art or some kind of hobby. Of course, those things are important, but you should choose wisely and be selective about your extracurricular activities, particularly when your examinations are coming up, and prioritize what you should be doing and make them align with your interests and goals. I talked a little bit at the beginning about stress management. And perhaps you do this in school already, but I'm just thinking about mindfulness. Perhaps you do that. I mean, I'm sure maybe that you do yoga in your school. I hope that you do a little bit. You're in a culture where yoga is a very important thing, but you should practice your relaxation techniques and try to incorporate mindfulness and meditation and deep breathing exercises to to try to manage your stress. And you should also, of course, take breaks. I mean, I talked earlier on about working, and working. Of course, that's good, but you also need to take regular breaks when you are working to try to recharge and avoid burnout. You know, I've had many students come to me who say that they feel burnt out with the amount of work that their teacher has given them, uh, and they have been studying for 5 hours last night. Of course, that's not a good situation to be in. You need to take a break when you are studying. The last thing I would like to talk about in my sort of half an hour or so that we're talking about is to reflect. It's very important to reflect back on or reflect about what you are studying as your examinations come up, and assess your own progress. You probably know if you're good at maths or you're not good, and you need to do a bit more work in that area, or you need to do a little bit more studying in physics. You know that yourself, and you can assess your progress yourself. It's important to regularly evaluate what study techniques and time management strategies are working for you. You know, what is a good way to work? Where is a good place to study? You know, we actually know that ourselves in our minds, but we often don't reflect on it. You know, we need to think a lot about it. And the thing is, on that, is to be flexible about it. You know, you shouldn't be afraid to adjust how you are working. You know, if it's not working for you to sit and read for 5 hours, you should perhaps look at other ways of doing that. If something isn't effective, of course, change it. That is very important. Um, to finish, I should say, by adopting some definite strategies, you can better manage your workload while striving for academic excellence. I think the most important thing for me to say to you, my last words to you is that balance is the key to studying. Um, to study one day for 5 hours and not study the next day or do something else is not a good thing. It's important to get a balance in your work. Um, and it's also more than important to have well-being while you are studying, and to, as I said, to eat properly, to relax properly, try to get enough sleep, try to help your friends. It's all about balance. Um, I think that's all I want to say today. What I would like to wish you is good luck in your examinations. I always wish my students good luck in the end of semester or end of term examinations as they come up. Um, I hope that I've been a little bit useful to you, to give you a bit of my wisdom of an old man, perhaps. Um, of course, I would like to help you. I was hoping that we could have a bit of interaction sometime, that people could ask me questions as well. Um, and I don't know if I'm getting a message to, can we take up some questions? Is that possible, Tanya?
Yes, our students would like to ask a few questions. Can we do that?
Yeah, I can answer questions. That's nice. If
That would be
anyone
great.
if anyone has got a question, that would be right. That would be nice.
We have all our students here.
Mr. Sidney, my name is Ridhima Sangyal. I am from MV International School. We face a lot of stress before exams. Can you please suggest some ways that how we can reduce our stress before exams?
I'm sorry, the microphone is distorting a little bit. Can maybe somebody repeat what you said?
That we face a lot of stress before our exams. Can you suggest some of ways so that we can reduce our stress before exams?
Doing tests before the exam.
Yes.
Is it a good idea? Is that what you're asking me to
Sydney,
take
what
self-tests?
Sid, I'll just quickly repeat the question for you. She said they face a lot of stress before the examinations. So if you can give them some tips as to how they can reduce that stress.
A lot of stress. Is that what she's saying? A lot of stress before the examinations.
Yes, right.
I hope I've been talking a little bit about that for the last half an hour or so. Um, I think the thing to do is to try to keep calm. I know that it is not easy to keep calm before a test. That is perhaps one of the most difficult things to do. We all face a lot of stress when we have something that is coming up. You know, if it's a test, if it's a driving test, if it's an examination, everything. The thing to do is to try to keep calm and use the pointers that I've given you about trying to reduce your stress by talking to other people about your stress. I think that is one of the most important things, is to admit that you are stressed to yourself and talk to your parents about it, to talk to your friends about it, to talk to your teacher about it. I think that we get stressed very much about things that we don't understand. That gives us a lot of palpitations and feelings because we don't quite understand that maths problem, and we know that we're going to face it in an examination. It's very important that you talk to your teacher or your friend about a topic or something that you don't understand. I think that that will ease your stress. The important thing when you're going into an examination is that you understand the work that you're going to be tested on. That is the most important thing about it. Is somebody going to ask me something else?
Good morning, Mr. Sidney.
Louder, louder.
Good morning, Mr. Sidney. My name is Lavanya and I'm from MB International School. Sir, I have a question for you. Sir, as it is very disappointing for us when we score low in our tests, in a regular test. So I want to get some tips from you such that how we can improve our school test marks.
Sorry, Tanya, can you help me with that? What
Okay.
she's asking?
In fact, to be honest, even I couldn't hear that properly. I'll just repeat whatever I could understand. So you want to ask him that I mean, any student, if he or she scores less number of marks in a school examination and in an internal examination, and you want some tips as to how you can improve on those internal examination marks. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Yes, ma'am, it's very true. I want to ask this only.
Okay, so Sydney, you got her question now.
Okay. How we can improve on our examination results. As I said, I think the important thing is about acceptance, to understand what the internal test mark is and why you got that particular mark. I think that you would know that yourself. You will know, oh, I didn't study enough in that particular topic. And so when it comes to the real examinations, the external examinations, as we call them, it's important that you understand where your failings might be or where your weak points might be in your work, and accept that. Uh, it's very important that we do have internal examinations. They help us see where students perhaps need our help, And then it's very important for the students themselves to have internal examinations so that that will pinpoint any weaknesses that they may have and areas where they may need to work a bit more on. Does that help you? Does that help you? I'm very much in favor of internal examinations before external examinations. I think that's a very important part from the teachers to get an idea of where you are and give you a predicted grade, perhaps, that will help you, and maybe you need to do something else. Another question.
Good afternoon, sir. My name is Pahul Kaur and I'm from MB International School. I want to ask you a question that how to balance academic responsibility with extracurricular activities.
Would you balance extracurricular activities with your schoolwork? I think, as I mentioned, to find a balance is extremely important, and that you have to prioritize what will be important. You know, is it important that you take part in a sports team, or is it more important to get a good exam grade? I think you have to work out a balance yourself, and you have to prioritize what is important to you. Of course, as I mentioned, extracurricular activities are immensely important. You know, it shouldn't all be work, work, work in school. We should have extracurricular activities. We should have relaxation time, but it's important to strike a balance between those things. You know, that's extremely important, to find a balance in yourself. Otherwise, you will find yourself very stressed out. And anybody else want to ask me? I seem to have a lot of people coming up to me.
Good morning, sir. Sir, can you kindly suggest some relaxing exercise which we can do to lower our stress during exam time?
I'm sorry, Tanya. Can you help repeat that question?
Can you come near the main mic which is connected to the Zoom system, please? Because there's a lot of echo. We are not able to understand you properly.
Sir, can you suggest some relaxing exercise which we can do to lower our stress during exam time?
Sidney, you got the question now?
Yeah, please. Can you tell me, Tanya, what it was?
Okay, so he wanted to understand some relaxing exercises that they can do during their exam to reduce their examination stress.
Some exercises. It's good. Myself, I find running is good. I like to do some running or some work in the gym. That always helps me to relax. I talked about mindfulness just earlier on. It's important to get relaxation. I think that meditation is a very important thing, to try to meditate, to try to do some yoga and meditate, and to get sleep, to do breathing exercises. I think they're very important. Whenever I'm going to talk or do something, I always do some breathing exercises to try to calm myself down and get some blood flowing, oxygen flowing into my brain. I think those things are important. Exercise is very important, I think, to all of us. Otherwise, we become very sluggish, not just in our bodies, but also in our brains. You know, I think exercise is an important thing.
Sir, my name is Arushi Saladia. I'm a teacher from MB International. So my question is, one of the factors that is responsible for stress in today's generation is social media, pressure of social media. Can you suggest some of the ways how to resolve that pressure of social media? It is some of a big question, but still.
It's a very good question, actually. I'm a little older. I come from the age before social media came to be a very big thing. Um, but I have children, I have grandchildren, and social media is an extremely important thing to them. If I look at the children behind you, I can see some smiling faces as we talk about social media. Um, I think that the students and their parents and the teachers and the head teacher has to be very aware that social media is part of our society now, whether we like it or not, whether we agree with it or not. It is there. Um, I, I think that students or teenagers are a little bit obsessed with social media these days. You know, they're kind of taking photographs of their cups of tea before they drink it, or their food before they eat it, or they're talking about their Instagram account, their Insta account, my granddaughter calls it. Um, I think that social media should be controlled. As a headmaster, I didn't allow mobile phones into my schools. That was my choice, my rule. That was agreed with parents that we would have no phones in school during school time. I don't know what the rule is in your school. That is up to your administrators to decide that. Um, and actually, I am a fan of social media. I don't do it so much myself because I'm not in that generation, but I think that we have to accept it. But it needs a lot of education, and students need to be aware very much of the dangers of social media. We have all seen on the news, or we have heard of terrible consequences of social media, and students talking about other students, or putting photographs of each other up without permission to do that. I think the social media has to be controlled, and the way to do that is to give students a good education about how to use social media in a responsible way themselves. Um, it's a very good question, and a question that educators are thinking about all of the time. But yeah, I think it's about education.
Just 1 second. Am I audible?
Yes, sir, you are.
We just had a power failure, just connecting it back. It is a very valid thing to know that social media is important, but then equally it's more important how do we use it judiciously. That's more important. We have with us our school director, Mr. Gaurav Abrol, Mr. Sidney. He's our director, Mr. Gaurav Abrol. We can have an interaction with him till the time, please. Working?
Hello, sir.
Hello, Mr. Rose.
Hello, sir. How are you today?
I'm good, sir. Hope all.
Hello?
Hello?
Yeah. Am I audible, sir?
Yeah, I can hear you now. I can hear you.
We are really honored, sir.
Gaurav sir, we lost you in between. There was a connection error.
Yeah.
Now we
Am
can
I
hear you,
audible
sir.
now?
Yes, now we can
Yeah.
hear you.
Yeah. So thank you so much, sir, for the great opportunity, and you interacted well with the students. I was listening to all the questions and the answers you gave. I hope it will go a long way. My only last question to you is, there are some students which are introvert in nature. So could you please throw some light, like how they can get out of the stress? Those who are not able to express their stress. So what are your thoughts about that?
Yes, I mentioned that. I mean, I think it takes a lot of courage from the student to admit that they are stressed. It's about courage. It's also some responsibility, I think, with the teacher to look at the class and see that students that are having difficulties, that are struggling, that it shows up with the internal examinations. I think that's a very important thing, and I'm very happy that you are doing internal examinations as a form of assessment. I think that I am a big fan of internal examinations and tests. Now, some people call me old school, maybe. I have old school values in that. So I think that test scores pinpoint students that are struggling and that are testing. I think it's important that the teachers continuously ask the class if they do understand topics. And as a student, and we were all students at one point, it is difficult to put your hand up in class sometimes and say, "I'm sorry, sir, I don't understand." I think part of the teacher training should be about making sure that students do understand and not just lecturing to students. There should be interaction in the classroom between the teacher and the students to ensure that they do understand. I think it's important the teacher continually asks, do you understand that?
Yeah.
Do we all understand that topic before I move on? I think that is an important thing to do. I've been involved with teacher training, and it's one of the things that I talk about a lot, ensuring that the class does understand rather than just plowing on with the topic. I think that's a very important thing.
Yeah, got your point, sir. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you. I can say it was lovely to see your students. They look very beautiful and very orderly and very nice. It looks like you have a very nice school there. I hope one day I could visit it. That would be
definitely.
That would be very nice too. Thank you for letting me talk to your students. I
The
hope
pleasure is ours, sir.
I hope my words of wisdom from my grey hair are useful in some way. That would be good. It's very nice to meet you too, sir. That's good, and it would be very nice to meet you in person one of these days.
And we are hoping that we'll see you soon in Jammu, sir.
Yeah, that would be lovely.
We'll share the invitation with you.
Yeah, great. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you so much, Sidney. Thank you, Gaurav, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Okay, thank you, everybody, and thank you, school. It's very nice to see you. Thank you, everybody. Thank you. Okay. Bye-bye.